So just out for another walk here. I see my buddy Jimmy Vinyl over there. He's having a conversation. He might not want to get involved in a live stream. Hey, man.
Hey, bud, how are you?
I'm good. I'm live right now. I don't want to interrupt you. What do you guys think? We've been declared an anarchy jurisdiction. What do you think? Did you hear about that?
I did not.
Yeah, the Department of Justice has decided that New York City is an anarchy jurisdiction, going to be defunded by the federal government.
Really? There's an assumption that anarchy is bad, see, but anarchy is that's a misinterpretation of anarchy.
I think they're saying that the failure to enforce the law, like all these businesses closed and everything being set on fire and fighting with the police, that's anarchy. What do you think?
I think that this is a very dysfunctional circumstance that we're in, and the interpretations of our existence are faulty, generally speaking. So we're not thinking clearly. We're obviously systemically on a local, regional, and federal level not thinking clearly. The truth at the base of this doesn't exist. If it did, then all the elements of health orientation would factor into the response. And, the response is really about profit for a corporate entity. So until we adjust and allow people's interpretations based on their view of this to be recognized for what it truly is, then we're going to have a discord, and that's why this is existing.
But you're for anarchy, huh?
I'm simply playing with the definition of the way that it's used, right? I mean, anarchy is not, it's an old concept, right?
You think everybody should do whatever they want, right?
Self-regulation, not in the sense of, it's in the sense of like what Martin Luther King said, right? Martin Luther King said that responsible behavior toward the self is responsible behavior towards society.
Correct.
And responsible behavior in society is responsible behavior toward the self.
Okay.
There's a mutuality to that dynamic, right, that has to be appreciated and nurtured.
But
right?
don't you think we all need to kind of respect the law in order to respect each other? We're living in close proximity.
Subjective, though. The law is notoriously subjective.
But if the law says you can't smash a window and you can't
sit in the back of the bus,
you can't block the street when people are trying to drive their cars,
but
and
you can't go in this doorway, right? Remember that, right?
Yeah, but that's
no
50 years ago.
We still have anarchic laws, right? We still have archaic laws.
Well, we're talking about two different things. We're talking about anarchy. We're talking about respecting other people, right? Do you believe we should do that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Don't you think that respecting the law and the laws that are designed to allow us to all live in a society in an organized way rather than allowing each person to decide whatever they want to do?
Some laws are okay, but some laws are unjust.
So you think that people should just do whatever they want? If you don't like the law, you should break it?
I think that, again, back to Martin Luther King, right? We have a moral responsibility to break unjust laws.
So if the law is you're not allowed to ride the skateboard on the sidewalk because you could hit people and hurt them, if you don't like that law, you should just do it?
I think, let's do something simple, right?
But just answer that. Answer that. Please answer that. Please answer that question. If the law is, just please answer. If the law is no skateboards on the sidewalk, but you like skateboarding, you think you should be able to do that, right?
I think if a person does their activity responsibly, the law says I'm supposed to have the dog on a leash.
And you don't.
Right?
So it's kind of like it's saying that anybody who wants to do whatever they want with their dog should do it. So if that was a giant dog that could bite people,
that's not true.
If another dog came along that started a fight with your dog.
You're taking a single instance and extrapolating a conclusion.
Well, you were pro-anarchy when I walked up, and you're walking around with your dog off leash.
I didn't say pro.
And you're showing disrespect to other people who think dogs should be on the leash. Your dog could be off the leash in your house.
I'm not showing disrespect
to people.
Well,
you're showing that you don't think the law applies to you.
I'm saying that
while you're wearing a mask.
There are laws, and you're not.
Yeah,
right?
because it's not a law.
It's not a law, but it is a socially responsible
No,
activity.
it's not, actually. It's something that you've been told to do that has no basis in science. And listen, I don't want to insult your friend, Jimmy, but you guys carry on talking. I think we disagree. So there's a lot of people who think they can do whatever the hell they want. That guy being one of them. I just don't appreciate people who walk around with their dogs off leash and sit there and pontificate on the corner about what is responsible to other people. Do you work at the hospital, ma'am?
Yeah, in a clinic.
In a clinic? How's it going over there?
Busy.
Yeah, a lot of people with coronavirus?
No, not as much anymore.
Uh-huh, that's good. Well, thanks. Be safe. What do you think about New York being declared an anarchist jurisdiction?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? So these people don't think there's anarchy. I mean, you know, there's been crime, rampant crime, but everybody thinks it's fine. That guy with the dog off leash, and it's not the biggest deal in the world, but, you know, if we all want people to adhere to laws, I mean, my thought process is, where does it end? That guy thinks his dog is fine off leash. He's making his own judgment about the law. Other people think it's okay to hang out on the street on a skateboard. Other people might think it's fine to intimidate people and block traffic and have an unlawful assembly in the middle of the sidewalk, in the middle of Times Square, disrupt the whole city. You know, this thing is vibrating occasionally. They broke the stabilizer. So some people might be upset that I was challenging that guy on having his dog off leash, but he's got the mask on. This guy has his own idea of what he thinks the law should be, and it's just not the way an organized society can work, because everybody's got an idea about what the law should be, but we have these laws, we vote for people who vote for laws, and I mean, all the people running around in the street who think that destroying this city is their right, or that's how they're going to resist and protest, it's born out of the same attitude as the guy walking around with the dog off leash. Put the dog on a leash if you're going to walk around. Yeah, exactly, because you see, this guy with the dog off leash, it's the same kind of guy who leaves the crap on the street because he doesn't really think he should have to be, you know, burdened with picking up dog crap. Oh, this high-minded talk about looking out for the self and others. If that guy cared about other people, he would have his dog on the leash. And he's telling me not wearing a mask is socially responsible. No, it's not. You're submitting. It's not even a law. They haven't said you have to wear a mask. It's just, you know, it's Andrew Cuomo's tweets. So the reason I wanted to come out here was to talk about this anarchy problem. It's a big deal. This is a really nice looking dog, and he's there on a leash. Because when we live in a city with 9 million people, you got to be very aware of the other people. Try to avoid doing things that are, you know, most people are walking around with their dogs on leash. So, yeah, this anarchy jurisdiction. That guy's got an anarchist swing to his step. I wanted to ask the cops what they think about the anarchy jurisdiction. They used to be standing right over here guarding their precinct. The fact that they're not doing that anymore makes me think that perhaps things have calmed down a little bit.
Spoil his appetite.
So there's some people out on the street. I mean, you know, this is a little bit probably more violence-free area than many, because you got the 10th precinct right over here, and I guess anarchists and criminals don't want to do their violence right in front of the cops. Oh, maybe not. Most people respect their neighbors and walk around with their dog on a leash. Walking in New York City with your dog off leash, you might as well paint a giant FU on your chest and walk around saying FU to every single person, because you're saying the laws don't apply to you. You can do whatever you want, and you can do it all over New York City. guy. I still like Jimmy Vinyl, but I don't know that guy. Well, there's no police out here to interview or to discuss this with, so they weren't going to talk to me anyway. The police need to do something about this anarchy. The mayor needs to do something about this anarchy. Wow, look at that. When did they paint the rainbow flag on the police precinct? I haven't seen that before. A lot of people might have seen Light on Conspiracies with Ole Damagard this morning. We had some technical problems with Vimeo. It's been straightened out. But you may notice some disruptions with Vimeo. Going to be making a shift away from Vimeo in the coming weeks. Did a really important episode yesterday with Charles. If people missed that episode of Sunday with Charles, check it out. We were talking about the chairman and CEO of IAC, the Interactive Corporation. And that's a guy by the name of Barry Diller. I didn't get to go into some of the details that I had found about him. A lot of people are talking about how Interactive Corporation bought this thing called StarNet Interactive. And we're trying to determine if there's a connection between StarNet Interactive and StarNet Communications. People who watch David Hawkins' Discovery CSI are going to know that StarNet Communications was a company that was in Vancouver, busted by the FBI, the RCMP, a couple of other people. We even heard from an eyewitness that there were guys there wearing CIA jackets. That sounds more like a costume than something the CIA would actually do. But there was a bust. This place was shut down. They were accused of producing hardcore child pornography and all kinds of really untenable things. But there's this StarNet Interactive, which is bought by IAC. That company, it's not far from here. It's right over there on 18th Street. I'm not going to walk back there. People could see it yesterday, but it's very interesting. The guy who's the CEO of the place is this dude, Barry Diller. And he's been written up in Gawker a lot. I don't know, this remains online in Gawker, this article about a sexy all-boy Thanksgiving. People can read that Gawker article. I don't know too much about Gawker. I think it might be out of business. I think they got sued by Peter Thiel for something having to do with Hulk Hogan. I think people watching are going to know more about it than I do. And I'm not trying to disparage the guy if he wants to have an all-boy Thanksgiving. I mean, we're in the right neighborhood for that kind of thing. If he wants to have an all-boy Thanksgiving, that's his business, and certainly nothing illegal about it. It's interesting that he, is married to Diane von Furstenberg, ostensibly. That's his wife. I don't know how she feels about it. But, whoa, why is that black? That's supposed to be, interesting. I don't know why it's not. It's supposed to be another video playing here, but it didn't play. Let's see. It's always tricky. Interesting. All right, that doesn't want to play. Well, there's a lot of articles online about our friend Barry Diller and what he's up to. And if people look him up on Wikipedia, you're going to see he's got a group of what would you call these guys? His not his disciples, but he's like the mentor. They're his proteges. These guys, the killer dillers, they're called. And they're media executives, television executives, things like that. I think I've mentioned that Barry Diller is in the Television Hall of Fame. That's an Academy of Television Arts and Sciences thing. And let's see if we can get this to play. It just doesn't want to play that. It's interesting. There's, lots of different things that can go wrong when you're doing a video, so we'll have to come back to that later. But the killer dillers. There was a guy named Garth Ansier, who's one of these killer diller guys, who, these guys have been, these are allegations that have been made by other people. And so we must presume that these individuals are innocent until these allegations have proven them to be guilty. But it's interesting, Garth Ansier, he was the vice president, I think, of America Online. And that ties into some of the stuff that David Hawkins, boy, that's a really, really adorable dog right there. How old is this dog?
He's 12 weeks.
Oh my goodness. What's his name?
Pasco.
Tasco?
Pasco, yeah.
Pasco. Oh, how you doing, Pasco? What a cute little dog. Oh, he's a little shy.
He's a little shy.
The camera's not working, but all right, have a nice day.
You too.
See ya. See, they've broken the stabilizer. Not working. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, yeah, I think it's totally broken. Okay. We hear a lot about them, they don't want this information going out, they are suppressing this and that. I think we know who we're dealing with right now. A lot of problems with the Vimeo channel. Vimeo is owned by this interactive corporation that's got Chelsea Clinton on the board. Charles Ortel has spent years laying out, as he would say, chapter and verse, details about the long list of problems with the Clinton Foundation, and there seem to be similar problems with the Diller von Furstenberg Family Foundation, which is tied directly to this IAC. It's the same guy. He's the chairman, and he's one of the principals in this foundation. There's a lot of these nonprofit foundations that are involved in stuff that they seem to earn profits from. Wow, the Gap is out of business. This was the Gap forever. How? I mean, you're telling me this is not anarchy? We got businesses closing all over the place. Graffiti. What do you think about New York being declared an anarchy jurisdiction? Did you hear about that?
No, who are you talking to?
I'm talking to you.
What is
This is a camera. No, all right. So you don't mind being an anarchy jurisdiction. This was the Gap. Now it's a wreck. I mean, wow. I mean, look at that. Not good. Not good. I did not know that this Gap was out of business. I guess maybe New York Sports will go out of business too. It looks like it is. New York Sports is up there. Whew, wow, a lot of stuff going out over here. A lot of desperate people on the sidewalk. People are laughing about this anarchy jurisdiction thing. It's not good. You know, people saw when I was assaulted in the park and I asked the police if they would do anything. They asked me if I had called 911.
I can see it dance. Oh.
See if there's anybody I could talk to who's not looking like they're gonna go crazy. Did you hear that New York's been declared an anarchy jurisdiction? You didn't hear that. You don't care. All right. Everybody's got it. Not interested in talking. Did you hear that they declared New York an anarchy jurisdiction?
No.
Do you work for the post office?
No.
Amazon?
Yeah.
How is it working for Amazon?
Very, very successful.
Successful?
Yeah.
Okay. Enjoy the success. But can I talk to you for a second? Did you hear that they just declared New York an anarchy jurisdiction? Did you hear that?
No,
Are you from New York?
no, not really.
Where are you from?
Honduras.
Honduras?
Yeah,
How long have you been in New York?
couple weeks.
A couple of weeks. Why would you come here now? It's going crazy. It's anarchy.
No, I don't know.
Maybe better than Honduras.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
good luck.
thank
Are you
you.
a student?
Yeah.
Good luck. All right, so wow, somebody, look at this. Police. Can I ask you officers a quick question? They just announced that New York has been declared an anarchy jurisdiction. What does that mean to the people of New York, and what does it mean to the NYPD? DCPI. All right. I understand. Are you guys going to thwart anarchy with these horses? I mean, I'm trying to come up with a question you can answer. The cops don't want to answer questions. They don't want to, protect people when they ask for help from being assaulted. They just want to ride around on horses and make faces, it seems. I don't know if we're going to have a lot of luck answering these questions, but I'm surprised that more people are like scoffing at and unaware of this kind of concept that New York has been declared an anarchy jurisdiction. On the ponies, yes. What happened with the train derailment? I don't know. I haven't heard anything more about that. That was on 14th Street. I guess if I go over there right now, we're probably not going to see much of anything. So I'm learning the full extent of the damage that the equipment sustained the other day during that Black Lives Matter protesters attack. Did you hear that they declared New York an anarchy jurisdiction? What do you think of that? Can I talk to you for a second? It's a nice dog.
No, all good, buddy. I think it's wrong, but
It's wrong? Okay, thanks. See, there's a guy on a bicycle even has the dog on a leash. That seems way more difficult than walking down the street. He thinks it's wrong. I don't know why he would think it's wrong. I think there's pretty much anarchy going on when people can attack the police and nothing happens. Yeah, so see, this thing keeps vibrating and then now it's lost its ability to stabilize. That's really disappointing. This was brand new and that asshole broke it. Also cracked the lens on the other phone. So that's no good. Oh boy. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work. Let me see if we can get it back in business here. Yeah, motor's broken. Okay. So we hear the helicopters in the air. I do want to remind people to go and check out crowdsourcethetruth.com. You can watch all the live streams on there now, all the YouTube live streams, that is. The reason I'm talking about this IAC and Barry Diller and Vimeo, because it's really interesting how all of these things sort of happened at once. It could be a coincidence, but it seems much more to me like a coordinated effort. Now, what is going on here? This is the highway patrol. That's not a type of vehicle that you see all that often. Where are these cops going? I see a lot of cops driving around. I see a lot of cops standing around. I see a lot of cops on horses. But when I get assaulted in the park and ask them to help me, they don't seem to do anything. The cops used to have taxis that they would use. I don't know if when they undid the undercover department, if they got rid of the taxis. Hey, did you hear that they declared New York an anarchist jurisdiction?
No.
Well, they did. What do you think of that?
I don't watch the news like that.
But you're delivering stuff for SEMA, so you're all over the city. Have you seen Anarchy?
No.
Haven't seen Anarchy. All right. Thanks. Well, maybe there is no anarchy. Did you girls hear that they declared New York an anarchist jurisdiction? Well, see, people don't want to be spoken to. That's fine. It's a bit of a new approach to walk around just trying to talk to people. We noticed the other day that this place, Conquête, was out of business. What are those cops doing? Yeah, Seattle was declared. No, those people weren't on the phone. Seattle, people are oblivious. Yeah, what? No anarchy? I know. I can't believe that somebody would be in New York right now and not think there's anarchy. Just the other day, we had a crowd closing down Times Square, closing down a main road in Times Square, closing off people's access to it. Oh. Didn't mean to leave that up the whole time. But people can sponsor the show by going to Patreon and Subscribestar. Right, so there's going to be certain disruptions to Vimeo service, but a number of different things that are going to keep the sponsor exclusive shows going. I've got a video host being prepared right now that's going to be exclusive to Crowdsource the Truth sponsor exclusive shows. So all the shows will be restored. There's gonna be some of the previous shows are not gonna be available for a little while. Maybe gonna take about 6 to 8 weeks to create this Crowdsource the Truth hosting platform. It's a major capital investment. So I hope that people will stay with us on the sponsorship side. And if you're not yet a sponsor, please become one. Going to be introducing a new sponsorship opportunity where I'm trying to figure out exactly how to do this, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to take every single episode from Crowdsource the Truth that we've ever done and put them on a thumb drive or some kind of something like that, and there'll be a level of sponsorship where you can get all the videos on a thumb drive. I don't know, are people interested in that? If that sounds like something you'd be interested in, let me know. I feel this stabilizer vibrating like mad in my hand, which it's not supposed to do. Yeah, thank you, Repent America. Repent America says Patreon is great. Did you hear that they just announced that New York is an anarchist? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize you were on the phone. Did you hear they announced New York is now an anarchist jurisdiction?
No,
What do you think about that?
anarchist.
There's anarchy going on, have you noticed?
Oh, well, I haven't had experience it, but
But I mean, don't you think, do you live in this neighborhood? Have you been here for a while?
Yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
it kind of wrecked right now?
Yeah.
All these businesses are closed.
Oh, yeah.
That's the anarchy, I think.
yeah.
And the police haven't been doing anything to stop it.
And there's been some like violent behavior.
It's really bad, isn't it? How long have you lived around here?
Quite a while.
I mean, I've lived here for 20 years. It's never been this bad.
No, I know. Well, this has never happened before.
So what do you think is going to happen in November?
I'm nervous.
What would you like to see happen?
I would like to see Biden win.
Do you think Biden will control the anarchy?
I think anything could be better than what's happening. Anything.
Do you think Trump is responsible for the anarchy?
I think he is. I think he is ultimately responsible. Yeah. Of course, he'll never say that, but.
Well, I mean, he can't get the NYPD to enforce the law. It's the mayor that's causing.
Well, the
them to not
mayor's.
do that.
Yes, we don't like the mayor right now. No.
So isn't it kind of good if Donald Trump is putting pressure on the city? They declared it an anarchist jurisdiction so that they could strip away federal funding because they're wasting the money, not using it. What do you think about this idea of defund the police? That seems dangerous, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Is Biden going to be for defund the police or against defund the police?
I don't think he'll be for defunding the police. No.
I hope not. It seems like a disaster. Anyway, stay safe.
Yeah. Thank you.
Be well. Well, it's tricky. It was nice of that guy to stop and talk to me, but the second he says he wants Joe Biden, people start to feel you out, right? And they can kind of detect that I don't really want Joe Biden to do anything other than, perhaps have an insure and sit down. It seems like he's going to hurt himself. But anyway, it was just a quick walk around here. Maybe some people at the bicycle store will have some opinions about anarchy. Yeah, they're busy doing business. I don't know, people don't really seem to want to talk. Here's a guy without a mask. Hey, can I chat with you for a second? Did you hear that they announced New York as an anarchist jurisdiction?
I believe it.
You believe it?
Yeah.
Thank you for not riding that on the sidewalk, by the way.
Got you.
Appreciate that. See, that's a guy who respects the people around him. He could have easily been riding that down the sidewalk, saying F you to everybody who's trying to walk on the sidewalk. I get it. Most people don't want to just chat with somebody they don't know and be video recorded, but I just wanted to come out real quick and get a feel for what people think about the Declaration of Anarchy. We got anarchy over there across the street. What does FedEx think about anarchy? Did you hear that they declared New York an anarchist jurisdiction? The person didn't hear, didn't care. People don't want to be spoken to. All right, well, I think that might be it. Getting ready to start Unseen Libya with Jimmy and Joanne Moriarty. This is interesting. I noticed for the first time in a long time another line outside the supermarket. I wonder why that is. There hasn't been a line outside the supermarket for many, many days. Definitely weird stuff brewing. I do not think that the shutdown of all of my channels, I mean, this is an attack on the business. This is a very carefully thought out and strategically executed attack. There are other aspects of this that I'm not yet prepared to talk about. People know that there have been several lawsuits against me, or if you don't know, I'm here to tell you there have. We're going to be talking about them very soon, but there's a lot of reasons why you can't necessarily always just talk about a lawsuit. I hope that people will become sponsors. You're gonna get access to tonight's episode of Unseen Libya with Jimmy and Joanne Moriarty. Excuse me, ma'am. Did you hear that they've announced New York is now an anarchist jurisdiction? Did you hear that?
Not definitely.
Definitely, yeah. Did you hear that bit of news? That they've decided that New York is now an anarchist jurisdiction. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Do you think that's accurate?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think there's anarchy going on?
No.
All right.
It's pure bullshit.
Pure bullshit, is it? All right.
Trumponomics.
That's what it is? All right. All right. So, we're getting some insight from people here on the street. It's interesting. You just stand here on the corner and ask people. Maybe this guy wants to talk. Excuse me. Did you hear that they just decided that New York is an anarchist jurisdiction? Did you hear that?
Sorry?
Did you hear that they decided New York is an anarchist jurisdiction?
I have no idea why.
Well, because of the violence and everything going on. It seems like maybe you're not from New York.
I am from New York, dude.
Oh, you have an accent. I thought maybe.
Well, that doesn't mean that I'm from here, dude. Because I have an accent. I was raised in New York, yes.
Okay. So you didn't hear that they declared it an anarchist jurisdiction?
Well, because of the riots, the looting.
I mean, I can't say why. They did. They said it was because of a failure to enforce the law, and they were going to remove federal funding. You agree with that?
Of course. I mean, I agree that that wasn't right to do what they did to defund the police because it's the,
It's dangerous,
safety.
right?
Yeah, and you see the result of what's going on.
Where is your accent from?
I'm from Colombia.
Colombia. How long have you lived in New York?
Since I was 15.
Uh-huh. So have you ever seen it worse than this, as far as violence and?
Well, we had 9/11, and then we had the riots of LA, 1990s. That was bad as well, but not as bad as now. Now this is ghost town, and now we had the pandemic. And what are you doing? This is for?
Just putting out a live video here on
you doing
YouTube,
YouTube?
talking to people on the street.
Also, just hook me up with
Yeah, if you go to Crowdsource the Truth on YouTube,
Okay, hold
or
on.
just look for Jason Goodman, that's my name.
Okay, hold on one second.
Find me there.
Let me get the. Yeah, because YouTube is a good source, for knowledge.
Yeah. So, but you don't seem too worried about the pandemic. You and I are not wearing masks.
No, not at all, because it's a joke. It's a scandemic. Yeah, and it's not a. Oh shit, it's right here. It's not what it seems to be. When it started, it seems to be something serious. But now that we know the data and we know the results, we know what's going on. We know CDC data. We know all kind of real data from the system and from
the CDC and the WHO.
Yeah, from the system itself.
Yeah.
And it shows that the death rate is lower than the cold, than the
The flu, yeah.
So I think people are very scared of nothing. That they shouldn't be stressed for no reason. Because there's no point to get stressed for something that doesn't exist.
Do you think maybe it's more dangerous that they shut down the economy, created all this chaos?
Obviously, it's dangerous because we losing jobs, we're losing lives. People are committing suicide. People are they have no money to pay the bills. The rent is not being paid. Why?
What does it say? The future is
I'm a vegan.
vegan. Ah,
Yeah, I'm a vegan for 5 years.
all right.
So
Very good.
that being said, people are more like sheeps, followers. They don't do their own personal homework.
Yeah.
So by not doing that, you become, a fake news follower. So
I think you're gonna like Crowdsource the Truth.
I mean, but that's the truth, man. It's simple research that you can do and find out what's up. And if you're really stressed and scared about what's going on, you should just do your own research and then be okay.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't, you'd be like wearing a mask, you'd be like hiding, in the buildings, and ordering the food from the outside. I'm not, because I know that this is only a tactical that has pre-existing disease. And also the data shows that, through my research, that they fuck up with the numbers, you know. They did like people that was dying from a heart attack.
And they said it was
And they said it was,
coronavirus.
coronavirus. So everybody knows. A lot of people are informed. I mean, and I think it's time to just move on with life.
What do you think's going to happen in November?
I think it's going to be a chaos because the Democrats doesn't want to let it go, and then they producing this chaos to
Violence.
debunk Trump. Yeah, violence, because only Democratic cities are in this kind of situation. You go to Florida, they don't have that. The Republicans, Texas, there's no such a thing.
So who would you like to see to win the
Trump.
election?
Trump.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
because it's safety, it's a better economy, it's a better life. I mean, he has some issues that are not good, you know, that I'm not agree with him, like the climate, you know, and stuff like that. But I'm agree that we need to have control. We need to fund the police. We need to take care of our lives.
Yeah.
And New York used to be the most safest city in the United States.
Yeah.
Literally, like, you can go 5 o'clock in the morning, go home, nobody's gonna bother you. Now, 5 o'clock in the morning,
It's quite dangerous.
be careful.
All right, be safe.
Hey.
Good to meet you.
Hooking up with
Crowdsource the Truth on YouTube, and if you just look up my name,
okay, I'm gonna go there right now. Hold on.
yeah. We
All
got
right,
a
cool, man.
New Crowdsource the Truth viewer. Oh. Let me get YouTube organized. Well, listen, I gotta head inside, but it was good to meet you. Crowdsource the Truth, and you can also just look up Jason Goodman. That's me.
Crowdsource. Hold on, I got you.
Sure.
Hold on.
So yeah.
It won't take long.
Now this makes me think you're maybe a guitar player. Are you a musician?
I'm an artist.
Yeah?
I'm an artist, yeah.
Do you have an Instagram or something you want
Yes,
people to
I do
look
have.
at?
Yeah,
Tell
that's what I'm
everybody.
saying.
We're gonna have thousands of people watching.
Yeah, this is Giovanni F. NYC. Look me up. And I'm an artist. I'm a photographer, designer, painter.
Perhaps this random.
Collage for everything.
Yeah, maybe someone will purchase your artwork or something.
Yeah.
So Crowdsource.
Crowdsource.
Crowd.
Oh,
Like the crowd. We're getting the sourced information from a crowd. CRW. D.
Oh, there. Crowdsource.
Source.
Okay.
The Truth.
Nice, man. I'm gonna follow you because
Perfect.
I'm about the truth. Okay, right here.
Let's see if that gets you there.
I'm sure.
It should.
Crowdsource the truth. The truth, right? Or the
The
truth.
Truth.
Truth, like this. It will come up.
All right, I'm gonna run. I think you got hijacked by some Wi-Fi. That link over there is stealing your Wi-Fi, so it's not gonna give you a good connection.
Okay,
But
I
you're
got you,
you're
I
you're
got
there.
you.
You're gonna find it. Thanks very much. Good to meet you.
Hey, Jason, right?
Take care of yourself.
All right, Giovanni.
Giovanni, good to meet you, man. See, I like that. New York City, you can walk outside, you can start a conversation. Somebody might buy a painting from that guy. Who knows? It could change your life. I'm not sure why we have such a big line there at Whole Foods, but I'm gonna head inside, get ready to start tonight's broadcast with Jimmy and Joanne Moriarty. People can see it on subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth and patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth. Please get on there. There may be a disruption happening over the next, we'll see how much Vimeo wants to cooperate or not, but stay with me. The new videos will all be up there, and I'll see everybody in just a short, just under an hour.